Well, hello there, family and friends. It's Tuesday. It's 11:30, and you know what we do on Tuesdays at 11:30, honey? We go live with the word of the Lord. And I got this question for you. Let me make sure my sound is right. I hope you guys can hear me. I want to ask you this question. Honey, are you transporting a backseat driver? Are you transporting a backseat driver? Do you have someone that's riding along with you and they're the backseat driver? Now, I know some of you may be saying, Tab, what is a backseat driver? Y'all know what a backseat driver is. A backseat driver is someone that's in the car with you. And you see, I'm in my car today. I actually had to go into the office, and I said, you know what? We still gonna get this word out. They're in the car with you. The backseat driver, they're in your mode of transportation. And normally they're in the car with you because they didn't want to drive, or they didn't want to go where you were. They're going where you're going, but they didn't want to have to use their gas and their energy, and it was just more convenient. Hey there, Miss Elizabeth. So they're in the car with you. The backseat driver, however, gets in the car with you, and they don't normally have the knowledge, hey there, Abdul, to get where you're trying to go, but they want to give you instruction. Y'all know the backseat driver. They not only want to give you instruction, but it's unwanted information. Oh, I'm going in on this one this morning. It's unwanted information. You have this backseat driver, and sometimes they actually are in the backseat, but sometimes Miss Elizabeth and Abdul, they sitting right beside you on the passenger side, Keisha, and they begin to provide you as the driver, the one with the keys. They provide you with this unwanted information. Here they Sean and Roderick, and it's almost like they insist on telling you how to drive and where you need to go and how you need to get there and what turns you need to make and slow down. Don't you see this? And did you see that coming? And the backseat driver, y'all know the backseat driver. The backseat driver insists on trying to take control of where you're going and how you're going to get there. Are you familiar with the backseat driver? Some of you have been transporting some backseat drivers, and it's delaying you from getting to your destination. Baby, it's slowing you down. You're in the driver's seat. You know where you're going. You already had this conversation with you and the Lord, and you know exactly where it is you need to go. You know exactly how to get there, because you don't only use Google, baby. You use Google Maps and all of that. You've been there before, but there's someone that has decided to tag along for the ride. And they're slowing down your flow, and it's making you uncomfortable. And not only uncomfortable, because can you imagine? Can you come on now? Get with me a little bit. You in the car, and they're giving you all of these unsolicited, unasked for, unwanted advice and instructions. Do this, do that. No, go there. No, turn this way. No, do. And it just makes you uncomfortable. You get anxiety, and you want to lay your hand on the horn, but you can't, because they in the car with you. But it delays you from getting there, and you start to get a little irritated, Miss Mary, and you almost want to stop and just say, you know what, either you drive, or maybe you just need to get on out and get an Uber or something. But it's quite frustrating when you're trying to go where you know you need to go, and you have the backseat driver. What do you do when you're in that instance? Some of us have been in places where we know that this is the path that God has for us. This is the job that we're supposed to be going after. This is the relationship that God has placed you in. This is the location where he said for you to relocate to. This is the journey that God told you to take. He told you that you could write this book. He told you that you could start that business. He told you that you could go ahead and apply to get that new car or to build that house. He told you that you could get the loan so that you could qualify to do some other things. He told you that it was okay to start the daycare center. He told you that it was all right to go ahead and open up that restaurant. He told you that it was okay to go ahead and get on that knee and propose to your sugar pie honey bun. He told you it was okay to say, yes, I do, and I'd love to partner and do life with you. He told you, he gave you instruction, but there's somebody that's been a backseat driver giving you unsolicited information that you didn't ask for. You didn't didn't ask them, what should I do? It's different when you go to somebody and you ask them, what should I do? Or what's your opinion on this? But you knew what you wanted to do, and you just allowed them to come along for the ride, and they started throwing all this unsolicited information at you, and now you're in delay. Now you don't know whether to keep going. Now you don't know whether to go right or go left. Now you don't know whether to just pump the brakes. Now you're uncomfortable and you're irritated. What do you do? Honey, I want to give you some information this morning. The first thing I want to ask you is this question. Whatever it is that you've been delaying, has there been a backseat driver in your ear? Has there been some backseat driver information that's discouraged you from going where you're supposed to go? Has there been some backseat driver giving you expertise knowledge on something that they haven't done themselves? They hadn't even done it, but they want to tell you how to do it and how you should do it and how it's going to look if you don't do it this way. Have you ever just had that backseat driver echoing in your ear? I have this question for you, honey. The first question that I have is, do you know how to drive? I mean, you know, do you know how to drive? You see, when I got this vehicle, and I got the key to my little car, but before I got the key to my little car, I went to this place called the DMV. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. Hanging with me this morning. I went to the DMV many years ago, and I did this thing called a driver's test, and I passed that driver's test. So they said that I was qualified. They gave me this little plastic thing called a driver's license, and that means that I was qualified to drive. And then I didn't just drive the car, baby. I did the next step. Yeah, you got to get insurance. So I went and got insurance just in case there was an accident that would occur along the way, so that I would be covered. And so hey there, good morning, Daddy. So not only do I have the license, because I passed the test that says I'm qualified to do it, I also have this buffer called insurance in case something happens along the way, because anything could happen along the way, but I'm covered with a plan B as well. So then I went and purchased the car so that I could put it in the ignition and crank it on up to get where I needed to go. I'm asking this question. Some of you aren't doing what you've been called and created to do, and you're in delay because you have forgotten that you actually do know how to drive. You know how to do what you need to do. You know how to make the decision you need to make. You know how to go where it is that you need to go. Why are you listening to the backseat driver? Do you know how to drive? That's the question I have for you this morning. And the second question I have is, do you know where you're going? Are you comfortable getting where you need to go? Do you know where you're going? Do you know how to get from point A to point B? See, it's different if you don't know and you pause and you say, can you give me advice on this? Can you tell me how you handle this? But have you ever been going through the process of life and you know how to get there, but here comes that backseat driver, unsolicited, must give you their advice, and now you're in delay? If you know how to drive and you know how to get there, why aren't you moving? Why aren't you going after the things that God said that you can do? Why aren't you going after those dreams that you have? Why aren't you trying those things that you said that, you know what, I think I can do this? Why aren't you applying for the loan? Why aren't you starting the restaurant? Why aren't you writing the book? Why aren't you opening the doors to start that daycare center? Why aren't you moving forward in that relationship? Why aren't you going forward and driving and being the owner of your journey and your destination? The question I have, Lisa, is why are you standing and sitting still? How do you handle the backseat driver? See, what I want you to know is that once you get to this place that you can say, you know what, I know what God has told me to do. I know that he told me how to do it. And there may be some things that occur along the way. Just like if I'm driving, there could be an accident. I didn't plan for it, but I have that insurance that covers me. Don't you know that Jesus is your insurance? Don't you know that if something happens along the journey of life, faith that he is the one that's looking out for you? Baby, when you don't see what's coming in front of you, he's already went before you and prepared a way. Baby, when something comes and hits you in the back, don't you know that he already had that bumper covered? Don't you know that he sees what's on your right and he sees what's on your left? Jesus is your insurance, but why aren't you moving? Why aren't you going after the things that God said go and go now? See, when you get somebody that's in your car, and this is what I've learned to do. Sometimes I've had backseat drivers, and I've had to calmly say, I got it. Thank you, though. you know how you get that. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. Thank you. I know how to get there. Thank you. Sometimes you got to just nicely say thank you. I got it. Who do you need to just let know? Thank you. I got it. And then keep on going. Don't stop. Just keep on going. And then sometimes you get those drivers that just won't stop, and now you're anxious, and they telling you stop and wasn't nothing coming, and they saying slow down, and oh my Lord, it just does something to me. And sometimes you may have to just stop and say, you know what, let's pull over for a minute. Let's pump the brakes. Let's pull over for a minute. You riding with me. And it doesn't mean you have to be rude about it, but sometimes you have to clarify and let people know, I got this. I've been given the little plastic card to drive this thing called my life. I have the insurance that's called Jesus to get me through and navigate. And if I need some assistance, I'm talking to my passenger, my backseat driver. If I need some assistance, baby, I'll let you know. But right now, I got it. See, some of us just need to have the courage to let some people know. And you can do it nice now. Don't cause no friction on the highway driving and you all over the lane. You can do it nice now. You can still use manners. But some of us need to just pause and let some people know, I got it. And if it gets to the place, this is where it gets a little bit hard. This is where you really got to determine if you're going to be the driver of your car. Because it doesn't mean that they don't have keys. You don't have to put nobody else down. Like here's another set of keys. And matter of fact, when I look at it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 keys on this ring right here. But only one key is going to get this car moving. All of these keys that somebody else may have, it doesn't mean that their keys aren't good keys, Mary. It doesn't mean, Daddy, that these keys don't open something, but the key that God assigned to me, this particular key fits in this ignition, and it cranks up this car, and it gets me going where I need to go. And sometimes you just have to let people know, I got the key. I got it. But you may have to have that difficult conversation. And some of us are on the highway of life, stuck and stranded because we haven't had the difficult conversation. I know you're like, Tab, this isn't your normal message, but I had to just speak what God gave me this morning, because it's frustrating for you to be in a place of delay when God has gifted you with a vision, with a dream, with something that you want to do. Lisa, I remember, baby, you said the other day that you're going to be the Zumba girl. It's something that God gifted you, and it may sound strange to somebody else, but what's interesting, if you pay attention, people will have comments and conversation and words of distraction, and they'll play devil's advocate, but they still tagging along for the ride. They still have made up in their mind that they want to ride with you. They didn't get out and go get in their own car. They still side by side trying to go for the ride. And you've just got to be mindful of that. They're riding with me. So that means I am actually the driver. I actually am in control. And sometimes the difficult conversation that you got to have is, baby, we got a choice. Now, you can ride with me, and we're going to get there. I promise you we will. This is how I say it to my backseat drivers. Or it may be best if we don't ride together. It may be best if we just meet up there. It may be best or you may have to have that conversation. So I know you're saying, Tab, why? Because again, some of us have been delayed too long. And it's very different. Let me say this from a humble space, because I have a humble spirit. I want to say it from a humble space. It's not when you don't know how to get there. It's not when you don't know how to get there, baby. Tap into some knowledge. Get that driver support and say, okay, where are we going? Do I turn left here? Do I turn right there? Is this my next turn? And how far is it? Get the information that you need, Karen, so that you can get there. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you know how to go where you need to go, you know how to drive. You know where you're going. Don't be afraid to ride solo if you have to. See, some people are so intimidated by doing things on their own. They've missed out on some wonderful experiences. They're afraid to go this place by themselves. They're afraid to start. Everybody is saying, I got you, and yes, that's a good idea. They don't have a co-signer. They don't have a cheerleading team. They don't have somebody saying, I got their back. Baby, if God told you to do it, if Jesus qualified you to do it, is that not enough? Is that not enough? And I know I like encouragement, y'all. I'm the cheerleader queen. But can I tell you, every now and then, Miss Nancy, I've had to say, you know what? But God said I can do it. And if he said I can, I can. If he said try it, I'm going to try it. If he said do it, I'm going to do it. If he said go, I'm going to go. If he said move, I'm going to move. If he said start, you to have the courage sometimes to ride solo, because sometimes you can't afford the distraction of everybody being the backseat driver to your life, to what God has called you to do, to what he's created you to do. Oh, I like that, Daddy. If you are the pilot, then let me fly the plane. My daddy, Air Force, y'all, he retired veteran. That military came out. Sometimes you have other people that are backseat driving, and you stop going and moving and growing and trying and exploring and expanding and being all that you can be. I want to encourage you today, but I want to instruct you even the more. It's time out for letting other people drive your car. It's time out for letting other people navigate the next steps in your life. There's nothing wrong, like I told you last week, to have a counselor and a coach and someone that has the wisdom and the knowledge that can help you to navigate, so you don't create an accident, so that you don't find yourself somewhere where you shouldn't be, on a dark road and they was trying to say, baby, that whole lane is out. You need some people that have the expertise, but that's very, 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 very different. Very different than having someone that's in your ear without the knowledge, that never has tried it, that never wanted to try it, that never had the courage to try it, that's afraid to leave the city, that's afraid to move outside the state, that doesn't know what relocation looks like, that's afraid to try a new job because they're comfortable on the job they're in, even though they know that job is a dead end, that's afraid to say, you know what, let me try this love thing one more again, that's afraid to write the book, but they keep saying it's a story inside of them, that's afraid to start the business, but they know that God has given them the gift to cook and to create and to just sit, create an atmosphere where people can sit and experience all type of lovely environments. They're afraid, and their fear is speaking in your ear as a backseat driver. And now you're afraid. And now you're not moving and you're not going. It's very different when you have somebody giving you information and you didn't ask for it. It was unsolicited, and they insist on telling you how to do stuff. And they almost try to take control of your life. Honey, I come to you this morning out of love. I want to remind you that you only got one life. And when God created each and every one of us, he put inside of each and every one of us a plan for our individual lives. Sometimes that plan allows us to say, baby, pile up in the car. We going somewhere. There's nothing wrong with having a car load. But honey, you can't ride with distractions. You can't ride with people that's trying to take the steering wheel and you in the driver's seat. You can't ride with people that's pumping the gas over there. You know how they do that Fred Flintstone thing, baby, Jasper. They be pumping the gas, making you nervous. You stopping and ain't nothing coming. You can't allow everybody to get in the car with you. It can create accidents, anxiety, fear, unnecessary that you belong in the first place. Are you willing to take control of the wheel? Are you willing for the ones that understand where God has called you to and that he's given you the direction to get there, to say, come on, get in the car with me. Come on, yeah, get in the back seat. Baby, look, I'll make adjustments. I'll slide my seat up. I'll move in. Come on, let me make room for you. I'm not a selfish driver. But what I'm not going to do, and what I don't want you to do, is continue to make accommodations for people that are preventing you and delaying you from getting where you're supposed to go, how you're supposed to get there, without all of the distractions. Some of you are in some circles. You're in some circles with some individuals, and those individuals have become backseat drivers, and they're a distraction. Some of you are in some situations, and you keep going back and forth. You know what you need to do. You know, you've already weighed it out. You've already prayed about it. You've already thought out, this is what's going to happen if I do this, and this is what's going to happen if I do this. And it seems like a lose-lose situation. Baby, it's not. What's going to let you sleep at night? What's going to make you get to this place where you say, you know what, I might have to go by myself, but this is what God told me to do, and I'll be at peace with him? What's going to get you where you know you're supposed to be? That's the decision. And it doesn't mean that you got to be ugly about it. Honey, I'll pull over real nice and I'll take you back to your house. I'll drop you off. I'm a Southern girl. I will take you back to your place of residence. I ain't going to put you out on the highway, but we can't ride together if we're not vibing together. Sometimes you've got to make difficult decisions so that you can get where God told you to go. Because if not, you will find yourself driving your life frustrated, irritated, uncomfortable, slowing down when you should be moving, turning left when you could have went a shorter route because you know the other route. But somebody took you all around the city, because that's where, hey, there's a Tara. That's how they know how to get there. But you know a shorter route. But you was like, well, maybe my route wasn't right. No, their route done took you all around the city because that was their route to drive in their car. But it's on your gas. Honey, it's on your gas. It's the wear and tear on your tires, your engine, your transmission. And you burnt out and you tired because you're trying to accommodate everybody else's directions for your life. So today, the word that I have for you this morning is whom the Son sets free. I know y'all like, she gave us no scripture. Baby, I'm going to give you this one. Whom the Son sets free. The Son sets free is free indeed. Are you willing to be free? There's nothing like, I tell you, once I became an experienced driver, baby, there's nothing like getting in that car and cranking that thing up. And then you get real cute with it. You put the sunroof up. honey. And then you get real fancy with it and you lean back a little bit so you get comfortable. There's nothing like getting comfortable in your own life. And you can lean with it a little bit. Now, y'all be safe drivers now. Be safe drivers. Hey there, Marlon. Be safe drivers. But it's nothing like when you know where you're going. And then when you know where you're going and you ride and you put that music on. Y'all know I got to have my music. And you riding and you got your music going. And oh, when you feel real good with it, honey, you say, the sun, you put your shades on and you just ride, and then you see somebody, you know, how you doing? It's nothing like being the driver of your own life. Baby, some of y'all ain't living because you following somebody else's backseat driving instructions. Stop that. What am I saying? Sum total, stop that. I need you to stop that. You got one life. And today, this Tuesday, the last day of August, let it be the last day that you allow somebody else to tell you how to drive your car. You are the driver. Jesus is your navigator. He gives you the instructions, and you're going to get there just fine. He's not going to lead you into an accident. He's not going to lead you on some dark road. He's not going to lead you somewhere where your car can't get you. Baby, put your trust in the Lord and be free. And be free. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Amen, Mary. Amen. I love y'all. So look, y'all know I'm on my lunch break. I got to go back into this job, honey. I'm on site today. I'm going back into this job, but I was not going to leave you without a word. Y'all see it's raining. Y'all see the water drops. But I got an umbrella, honey. The Lord got me prepared. I wanted to make sure that I got on and gave you this word. I pray that you do something with it today. I pray that I see your name in the news, honey. Now, don't be out there speaking. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't got nothing to do with no tickets and all of that. But I pray I see you somewhere in the news will say, ooh, look who just wrote this book. Look who opened that restaurant. Look who just got married. Look who started that business, baby. I want to see your name in lights. In lights, honey. I want to see you doing the thing. Living your life. Driving at a safe speed. Lisa, you got it covered in the name of Jesus the Christ. Y'all, the Lord willing, next Tuesday, 11:30, we'll come together again. I love you. Mwah. Sweet kisses from this heart right here, straight to your heart. Y'all have an amazing day. And get your keys, honey. Get your keys and get on. Get where you're supposed to get and get there safe now. Get where you're supposed to get.